Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Let me just open by saying this is the only way I could have my daughter cool out this morning. If I take her from this chair, there are going to be issues in the Dwyer household. Apparently there are issues even with her in the chair. So forgive this co-feature here. Some people just want to be co-stars. My girl is off in her career today. The fact that I'm running a law firm and doing boxing videos just not received the way I had hoped it would be. Anyway, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. First, let me say this. I've long been urging people to look at cryptocurrency. If you look up my history here online, you're going to see me years ago, maybe a couple years ago, talking about Darkcoin. Well, Darkcoin became Dash. Today, Dash is at an all-time high, right? If you believe in fiat currency more than precious metals and cryptocurrency, in particular, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dash. When I say Ethereum, I'm not talking about Ethereum Classic, right? I think you're making a mistake. I think you need to look at precious metals, right? Silver, gold. I've talked about silver here earlier online, as well as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dash. Let's talk about boxing. It'll be a brief video given the crowded seat here. Errol Spence, one of boxing's better body punchers. I have doubts about parts of his game. I took Chris Algieri, right? Mea culpa. I took Chris Algieri against Errol Spence, only to see Errol Spence blow up his ribcage, right? I haven't seen Errol Spence on his back foot. I haven't seen him tested. I have the same questions about Errol Spence that I have about heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, right? But I will say this. He's a power punch heavy guy who is athletic and who certainly knows how to decimate a guy's ribcage, right? Right now, the casinos have mispriced the fight. They have Errol Spence, if you go to oddschecker.com, they have Errol Spence as a 1-to-100 favorite. In other words, they're saying to you that if these two men, Leonard Spence and Leonard Bundu, right, Errol Spence and Leonard Bundu, fought 101 times, they're claiming Errol Spence beats Bundu 100 out of the 101. That's preposterous, right? Professional boxing is a competitive sport. These young lions have competition in the jungle. Now, as I've said here before online, and I know this is a controversial view, but it's how I feel, so I'm going to tell you, Frankie Gavin's an underrated fighter. What I want people to do is to revisit Leonard Bundu's win over Frankie Gavin in the United Kingdom. Right? Bundu is older. He's now in his 40s. Right? He's traveled internationally for fights. He took on a young lion, a guy who to me is more defensively blessed than Errol Spence. And he beat him, one of the tools in his arsenal. That fight was a great body attack, strategic body punches, right? He drops Gavin off a body shot. And you'll notice with Bundu that Bundu knows how to force a guy onto his back foot, right? Where I'm not sure Errol Spence has been professionally, right? And Bundu knows how to keep a frantic pace even though he's older for the division, right? If this were the heavyweight division, I'd say, hey, he's around the age of Vladimir Klitschko. This isn't the heavyweight division, right? So Bundu, I'll admit, is an older man. Now, while I won't ever endorse taking a guy who's at a 1 to 100 odds, in other words, No matter how much I like Errol Spence, I'd never say to you, bet $100 to win $1. What's the point in that? Right? I want to at least beat the casino in a way where I'm able to pay for dinner. Right? At the same time, I want to get a piece of Errol Spence in this fight, and I want to get a piece of Leonard Bundu. Right? Bundu, as I make this video, is a greater than 20 to 1 underdog. Now, understand what I'm going to say here hasn't yet happened in either guy's career. Neither man has been knocked out. Bundu fought Keith Thurman, folks. He went the distance with Keith Thurman, right? As my time here is running out, because I need to get back to my child who's really aggressive this morning, the bet I'm recommending here is to take Errol Spence, the young lion, by KO, hedged with Bundu simply to win the fight. Why? In part because nothing else is feasible. Right? I view this as a somewhat competitive fight. I'm not going to pay 1 to 100 odds to take Errol Spence to win. He's mispriced. When I see a real challenge, a guy who's already gone the distance with Keith Thurman, a guy who has beaten Frankie Gavin, when I see a guy like that as a 20 plus to 1 long shot, I've got to take a taste of that. Because in boxing history, long shots win fights. We've seen it time and time again. So, because both of these guys are not jab heavy, they're power punch heavy. Because Bundu is going to try to break Spence, get Spence on his back foot where we don't know what's going to happen. And because Spence is going to come in with a level of aggression, right, that's going to allow him to throw the body punches and high percentage power punches. Look at Spence's high connect rate on power punches in his career. Because Spence is going to be coming forward and Bundu is going to be coming forward, and because neither guy is going to be flashing the jab and back foot game that Thurman flashed when he fought Leonard Bundu, I'm expecting a stoppage in the fight. Why am I not taking Bundu by KO? Simply because the casino's already offering me greater than 20 to 1 odds on Bundu simply to win the fight. So the bet I'm recommending is Errol Spence by KO. Right? Spence is one of the more promising prospects in boxing. He could well win this fight by KO. Right? You're not getting 1 to 100 odds. You're getting 1 to 3 odds there. 33% rate of return. Literally, 33 times what you would have gotten if you just took Spence to win. Right? I like Errol Spence by KO, hedged with Bundu, simply to win the fight. Right? Betting on Bundu, I agree, it's pie in the sky. But the casino is compensating me for the risk. Right? Bundu is more experienced than Spence. Right? He still throws a healthy volume in fights. The fact that the guy has fought people like Frankie Gavin and Keith Thurman tells you he hasn't been protected. The fact that he went 12 rounds against Keith Thurman tells you that he has survival skills. Right? He's not going to come in and try to dance away from Errol Spence. I believe Bundu is coming in to try to get Spence on his back foot. There's going to be action in the fight. If I only had one bet to make, I'd take Errol Spence by KO. But I'm going to hedge it because I'm a guy who likes to swing for the fences. And I feel that Bundu is mispriced in this one. So in closing, I like Spence by KO. at 1 to 3 odds, hedged with bundu simply to win the fight at greater than 20 to 1 odds. That's how I'm playing it. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for stopping by.